The rain tapped softly against the old wooden windows, steady and patient, like fingers drumming on a piano in another room. Outside, the Vermont countryside disappeared into gray mist. Inside, the farmhouse felt warm and golden. The fireplace crackled gently, flames dancing against stone. Shadows stretched and curled along the walls like quiet memories. It was the kind of night when the world slowed down. The kind of night when stories found their way out. In a rocking chair by the window sat Grandma Eleanor. Her silver hair was twisted into a soft bun. A knitted blanket rested over her knees. Her hands, thin, wrinkled, steady, rested calmly in her lap. Her eyes, pale blue and thoughtful, reflected firelight and something deeper. A lifetime of love. A lifetime of loss. A lifetime of survival. Across from her sat her granddaughter, Emily, 17. Bright, sensitive, and quietly unraveling. She held a mug of hot cocoa in both hands, but it had long gone cold. "Grandma," she asked softly, "does life always feel this confusing?" Her voice cracked just enough to reveal the storm inside her. Eleanor smiled gently. "No, sweetheart," she said. "Life feels confusing when your heart is stretching. Growing isn't always comfortable." Emily looked up, unsure. Outside, thunder rolled faintly, and so, Eleanor began. "When I was your age," she said slowly, "I believed love was supposed to feel like fireworks on the 4th of July. Bright, loud, unmissable." Emily leaned forward. "I was 17 in 1968, Eleanor continued. "The world felt enormous. I wanted to leave this small town. I dreamed about New York City." She smiled faintly. "I wanted to study literature, write novels, change the world with words." She paused, but back then, girls were encouraged to be careful, practical, sensible. Her voice softened. "We weren't told to chase dreams. We were told to choose security." "I fell in love once," Eleanor admitted. His name was Daniel. They met at Miller's Lake after church picnics. He had nervous hands and the kindest smile she had ever seen. "We never even kissed," she said with a quiet laugh. "But we talked about everything. Dreams, books, escape." At sunset, it felt like the world narrowed down to just us. Emily's eyes widened. "You never told anyone." "Some stories," Eleanor replied gently, "stay sacred." Daniel earned a scholarship in California. Eleanor's family expected her to stay. "There were no cell phones," she said. "No FaceTime, just in C." She remembered the train platform. "I cried after he left," she whispered, "not because he betrayed me, but because I realized I couldn't hold on to everything." Emily swallowed. "What happened to him?" "He became a memory," Eleanor said, "and proof that I could love deeply." A few years later, she met Thomas. Steady, quiet, reliable. "He didn't give me fireworks," she said. "He gave me safety." They married in a small white church. "I wasn't heartbroken," she explained, "but I wasn't swept away either." Life became routine. Mornings before sunrise, coffee brewing, laundry folding, bills stacking. "Your grandfather wasn't cruel," Eleanor said, "but he didn't talk much." Silence filled rooms. And sometimes silence, she added, is heavier than anger. At night, she would sit alone at the kitchen table. Is this all life will be? Then one evening, something shifted. I realized happiness wasn't going to knock on my door, she said firmly, so I decided to build it. She enrolled in community college classes. She joined a book club. She wrote stories in spiral notebooks after dinner. Tiny rebellions, she smiled. Tiny pieces of myself. One night Thomas found her laughing over something she wrote. He asked why she looked so happy. I told him I was remembering who I used to be. Something changed. He started asking about her classes, reading her stories, listening. Love, Eleanor said softly, sometimes grows quietly, like a tree taking root. Their marriage became partnership. Not perfect, but real. Years passed, children were born. Christmas mornings exploded with wrapping paper and laughter. Sunday, pancakes burnt, half the time, by Thomas. Those were good years, Eleanor said, her eyes shining, not flashy, but full. Then came January. Cold, still, ordinary. Thomas collapsed in the kitchen. A heart attack. It was too fast, she whispered. We thought we had time. She held his hand in the hospital and felt it grow still. After the funeral, silence returned, but this time it was permanent. The house felt enormous. The ticking clock felt cruel. I sat in this very chair, she told Emily, and asked God why love is given if it's going to be taken away. Tears slipped down Emily's face. How did you survive? She asked. Eleanor exhaled slowly. I realized something important. Love doesn't disappear when someone dies. In remembering him, she said, I realized he still lived in us. Grief softened. Not gone, but gentler. Eleanor turned to her granddaughter. Now tell me what's hurting you. And Emily did. The friend who drifted away. The boy who stopped texting. The college acceptance she didn't get. The fear she wasn't enough. When she finished, she felt exposed. Small. Sweetheart, Eleanor said firmly, don't measure your whole future by this one confusing season. But what if I never figure it out? Emily whispered. You will. How do you know? Because you care. Because you feel. Because you're brave enough to hope. There's an old story, Lenore continued, about a cracked water pitcher ashamed that it leaked. One day it apologized, but its owner smiled. Look at the flowers blooming along your side of the path, he said. I planted seeds there because of your crack. Eleanor squeezed Emily's hand. Your flaws are watering something beautiful. Don't chase happiness like it's running away from you. Build it. Take walks. Laugh loudly. Forgive wisely. Protect your peace. And never let someone's rejection decide your value. You will find someone who listens to you. She added, but first, listen to yourself. The rain stopped. Moonlight spilled across the wooden floor. Emily stood and wrapped her arms around her grandmother. I believe you, she whispered. Eleanor closed her eyes. Good, she said softly, because I've lived long enough to know life would bring storms. It would bring heartbreak, failure, long nights of doubt. But it would also bring love. second chances, unexpected joy. And someday, Emily would look back on this rainy Vermont night and realize happiness was never something she had to chase.